Hello and welcome to Take a Beat. My name is Tirza and I am the digital pastor here at IES. IES Take a Beat. I'm feeling a little self-conscious because you're here. But IES Take a Beat is an IES podcast where we invite all of you to take a little break, chat about things that matter, only to launch ourselves back on the beat. So here, I actually have wanted to have him on this podcast for a long time. And finally got to convince him to...
Awesome. Yeah.
So this is Jonathan Khubani. So why don't you introduce a little bit about yourself? Because I know you.
Yeah.
But a lot of them don't know you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Jonathan. I don't know, should I start with who my parents are or how long I've been in IES?
You can start wherever you are.
So
whatever you want.
Yeah. So I've been in IES for a very long time, since BNE 46 and then Staco and all these and the other places. And my parents are Pastor PK and Sister Noreen. And yeah, I've got two brothers, Daniel and Josh, and
you're
myself.
in the middle, yeah.
Yes, I'm the middle child. Yeah, but it's a blessing. I have a great family where I'm very blessed to have all of them. We're very close knitted. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's been a blessing to have them by my side. Yeah.
So, question for you.
Yeah.
So, what do you do now?
Okay.
In life?
Yeah. So I was in the garment industry manufacturing garments for about 8 years.
Okay.
And during COVID, I pivoted to manufacturing cooler bags, insulated bags.
Okay.
Our brand is called Thermapack. So we do all sorts of bags, and everything is able to insulate hot and cold.
Okay.
Yeah, our brand is called Thermapack. We're on e-commerce sites, and yeah, we have B2B as well.
Do you know that I just found out about that? Like, I didn't know that for the longest time. I didn't know that until I had a conversation with your brother,
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, like, don't you know what John does?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah,
Okay.
Now everyone knows.
now everyone in the world knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no. Also, I think in my head, whenever I interact with your family, and you like. I'm 17 and you're 15.
I'm younger, yeah.
We're all adults now.
Yes, exactly.
So I've heard snippets of your story and your testimony, and even your aunt, who I love.
Yes.
And would actually, I want her on the podcast.
Oh, we'll get her on the podcast soon then.
Oh yeah. Oh definitely. And she was like, "Oh, you need to hear John's story." But I also just hear bits and pieces of it.
Yeah.
So I never actually hear the whole thing. And then your brother preached at Encounter, and he's like, "Oh, my brother has this really cool story, but I'll let him like share it one day." And I was like, now I'm really intrigued. So can you just tell me like what happened?
Story, yeah. So I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at the age of 15. Mm-hmm. And at that time...
Wait, so that was like the last time we were in the same church together.
Yeah.
Right?
We no, actually that time we were not a part of IES.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So basically the story is I woke up one day and my left eye was blurry. I had like a spot in my left eye. Mm-hmm. At that time my parents were, I believe, in Singapore, and we were just alone, the three of us. And I was very confused at what this spot was. I thought, let me sleep tonight. Wake up tomorrow morning, maybe it's not going to be there anymore, right? Yeah. And I believe I even played soccer that night too, because I was just like, I think it's my mind playing tricks on me.
Okay.
So the next day I went to to an eye doctor and another eye place. And when I was at the eye doctor, the doctor was like, she said these exact words. She put eye drops. She said, go out of the room for your pupils to dilate, come back in. And when I came back in, she was just like, are you drunk? Then I said, what do you mean? I don't want this to happen to me. You know, like, what's happening to me? Because I was very shocked. I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. And then she was just like, she was very confused at what was wrong with me. So she ended up giving me a bunch of steroids, like medication, and she's like, "Go home and drink this." So at that moment, I was just like, "What's going on?" And I didn't even seek advice from anyone. I didn't even want to tell my parents actually, because
Your
they were in
parents-
Singapore.
Okay.
So they were coming back the next day, but I was like, being the middle child, let me just do my own thing and try to figure this out.
Very,
So,
very, very
yeah.
independent. Yeah.
So then I came back and I realized that I think something's wrong, because my vision's not getting back to normal. So the next day, I think that night or the next day, I told my dad and my mom, and then they're like, "John, we're gonna make another appointment with one of the eye specialists, and we're landing, and Pop will meet you." I call my dad Pop. So Pop will meet you at the doctor's. So I was like, okay, let's go. So mom and dad, they arrived. We went to the hospital, and we sat at the doctor's table. And I remember the doctor so well. He was in front of my dad, and I was sitting next to my dad. He looked at his paper, because we did some tests. He looked at his paper, and then he looked at me, and then looked at his paper again, and looked at my dad, and then he said to my dad, "Whatever your son has is toxic. Go bring him to the hospital right now, because he needs to get admitted." So I remember at that second, I was like, what's happening? Like, I was just playing soccer. I was just living my life normally as a 15-year-old. I have exams coming up. And so we got up, and he gave a letter. Then when we got up, I looked at my dad. I'm like, "Pop, am I going to die?" In tears, because I was just like, what's life? I don't know what's happening. So that was the beginning of my journey with MS.
Okay.
From then on, things started to happen. So basically, it's called relapses, where my nervous system attacks my body.
Okay.
And the first relapse again was my left eye, and then from then my right eye became blurry too. So both my eyesight was blurry at one period of my life, and I was still not diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at that time, because we were in Singapore, and they didn't know what it was. Okay. They didn't know. They diagnosed it under another term, and then we took medication for that. And then my dad was like, "John, I think we really need to go to Manchester, and then we need to go to New York." So I was like, "Okay, Pop, like, we have to, because we don't know what's going on. We don't even know what medication is in my system." So we ended up booking a ticket, because we were blessed to know a doctor in Manchester, and then we knew someone else in New York. So we flew to Manchester, and at that moment I couldn't see anything. I was in the flight. Both of my eyes were blurry, and I remember my dad literally holding me, like going to the toilet, and then and funnily enough, I was like, "Pop, I'm okay, And once I sent a text to Jakarta to one of my friends, and then I was like, "Pop, I'm like," he knew I was sending a text, because I was like, "It's okay, I can do it, And then he took my phone and he's like, "Do you know what you just wrote? Like, it's all gibberish. You like wrote everything mumbled." So then when I was in Manchester, the doctor over there said, "You have multiple sclerosis." And then when we were in New York, they also said, "You have multiple sclerosis."
Okay.
But I didn't know what MS was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard of it. So that's when, from there, we came back to Singapore, and then I found a primary doctor in Singapore. And then I started taking medication. The first one was I had to inject myself. So I had to inject myself for like, it was indefinite in terms of time.
Yeah.
But what happened was, when I injected myself suddenly after the third or fourth time, because you had to inject yourself twice a day, and then the next morning after the third or fourth injection, I woke up and I started limping.
Okay.
So I lost the ability to move my left side. I wasn't able to walk.
Okay.
So immediately I got on a wheelchair, and then immediately flew to Singapore. Flew to Singapore, got admitted again. And I got admitted again, and then they had to change the dosage of the medication to have something stronger, because this injecting yourself wasn't strong enough.
Okay.
So they changed it to a medication that's used for cancer. And I remember at that time they mentioned, like, you may lose your hair. So at that moment, though, I was just like, again, being a confused 15-year-old, I was pulled out of school because of this, whatever's happening to me. So yeah, that's when I took that medication. and then from my left side I was not able to move. It moved to my right side. So basically, I lost all the ability to move.
Yeah.
And yeah, that happened my left side, then my right side. And after that, that was the last medication I took in Singapore. But it took another month or two for me to. But at that moment, I didn't know whether I was going to recover. Right, my dad came up to me, and he didn't even tell me. But sorry, he didn't come up to me. He said it in his heart. This is what he told me afterwards. He just felt like, what's going to happen to my son? You know, like he's lost all his ability to do anything.
Yeah.
And he still has his whole life ahead of him.
Oh, that's right.
So, and then at that time, like, I had to learn how to walk again. Like, I was walking on, like, I don't know what it's called, but I had to learn how to walk again. And it was a whole period of, my alarm clock was someone coming in to take a blood test. So the room would open, the lights would go on, and I'd get a blood test. And then at that time, my dad said, like, John, why don't you go to school in Australia?
Okay.
Because they know so much more about MS in other countries than they do in Jakarta.
Yeah.
So at that time, I was like, of course, Pop, like, you know, like, I would definitely want to leave. But at that time, I was not able to walk. We were just making plans.
Yeah.
But slowly, my condition became better. I suddenly was able to move my left side. And then when I was able to walk a little bit, I remember when my parents were not in the room that I wanted to go to the toilet. So I walked to the toilet and I fell. And when I fell, I couldn't get back up anymore. I lost the ability to get back up. So I started screaming like, mom, dad. And then they came in the room and they saw me on the floor. And dad had to pick me up and then put me on the bed. So basically I'm really blessed because they bathed me, they fed me, they were just there for me throughout that whole time.
So let me ask you this, for someone who, and you mentioned this earlier, like you're the middle child, you're very independent.
Yeah.
So what was the impact for you going from someone who's very independent to having to rely on these wonderful people, but other people to do basic normal things?
It was terrible. Like it was just very hard to have that independence taken from you, you know, like, and you had nothing, you couldn't do anything about it. Like, I remember people coming to my room and just saying, you know, you should try to walk. And I'm just like, man, you're like saying the wrong things here, you know, like,
if I can, I would.
Obviously, I want to get back to normal and more. I'm 15.
Yeah.
So, but it was very hard because I was just incapable of doing a lot of things at that time, of course. But there's so much medication in my system, but I did therapy like every day. Like every day, I was doing therapy. I was trying, and then I remember continuing a little bit of that story. So I decided to move to Melbourne, and at that time, I was able to walk again and all that stuff. And then I remember my brother Daniel was graduating in December, so myself and my mom, we flew to Melbourne. And when we were in Melbourne, I suddenly got another relapse. I suddenly lost my ability to grip. I lost the grip in my hands. So I was fully weak in my hands. Like I had no grip. And I remember telling Dan, I'm like, this is the first time I'm meeting friends, you know, like I don't even know if I can shake their hand because I was so insecure at that time. Like things were happening to me. Suddenly I wake up in the morning, I don't feel the same, you know, so, but like God knew. And from me losing my grip, that was in December, and I even met a doctor, like an amazing doctor, an angel, and that is also attributed to my mom, who is an angel in my life. She, with God by her side, she was able to push for us to, not really push, but it was God's favor that we got this doctor, and he was just really there. He's been there for me throughout my whole journey. So at that time I met the doctor, and then he was like, John, for now, because you're leaving, you need to just take this kind of medication, but your face might swell up. So a moon face. So my face fully swelled up, like, like fully swelled up. And, and the thing is, I never even noticed it swelled up because of the medication. And and it was kind of something that was really, yeah, I felt sad because I'm moving to a new country. Like I look so different. And I remember I lost the ability to be able to write. Like I lost my grip. So when I was holding a pencil or a pen, I lost my grip. I remember the thing was I kept using a grip that hurt my finger because I knew I had to be able to write. I'm moving to a new country. I'm moving to a new city, a new school. I want to meet new people, but I'm not feeling normal here. So I continued to use that grip, but God, a week before I left, suddenly I woke up, I got my grip back.
Oh,
yeah, I got my grip back. Of course, I still had my moon face, but thankfully I had to walk to a station and then get on a school bus. So I had that whole journey of me, like suddenly I lost weight within like a couple of months. And
how
because I
old
stopped,
were you
I was 16.
Okay.
16 at that time, yeah. So yeah, that was then the journey in Melbourne became a little bit more I wouldn't say easier, but I had my doctor there. I had people, like when I took treatment in Melbourne, I would be sitting in a room full of people that had MS. So it was nice to speak to people that they've had the disease for a long time.
Yeah.
And to converse with them and see what symptoms they feel. And I had to take an MRI, but it was so aligned by God every step, from getting the doctor, from just everything. Yeah.
So you grew up in a Christian family.
Yes.
And with a family who loves Jesus like nobody's business. And so how did all of this impact like you and your relationship with God?
Yeah. Oh, it had a major impact. At the beginning when I got it, it was so fresh that I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
But slowly when I realized that everything's taken out of, like, I can't be normal anymore, I was very suicidal. I was very suicidal. I just felt like, God, why me?
Yeah.
And then I remember my dad coming up to me and telling me, why not you? Then I was like, what is this man saying, right? Then I realized that God wants to use this for his glory. But I didn't realize that second, right? It took me a lot of time and trying to understand, like, God, this hurts, like I know that I'm not able to do the things at that moment I felt like I couldn't do a lot of things, like I was limping and just a whole different feel. And I remember once that I was getting a bit better. I was limping, but I was able to walk, but I would limp sometimes. And I remember I went out for dinner. And when I went out for dinner, I went to the dinner limping and halfly able to walk.
Yeah.
And then suddenly after I finished dinner, I was with my friends and family and I told them, I can't move. You have to pick me up from this chair and bring me to the car. So when they brought me to the car, I was like, what is going on? This is so strange. Then when I reached home, my dad picked me up, carried me, and sat me in the room. And I looked at him and I said, Pop, just kill me. And he'll never forget I said those words, because saying that to your father is probably a big no-no, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. But at that moment, I was just like, it seems like I'm done. Like, I'm done trying. Then suddenly I've lost all my ability to live life. So yes, it brought a very, it was very shaky. I don't know if it was, maybe I was really trying to understand, like, God, what is going on?
Yeah.
In my wildest dreams, I would never imagine being diagnosed with MS and feeling all these things. But yeah, then slowly, a lot of people came to visit. A lot of people said the wrong things, of course. However, there are a lot of people that said the right things. But ultimately, that's where my journey with God began.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. Now I don't even know what to ask after this.
Yeah.
So what were some of the things that encouraged you throughout this journey? Like maybe the things, the right things that people said, or even some of the things that people did. that encouraged you throughout this journey?
I when I was going through it, I remember there's a time that I was bedridden, right? I couldn't walk, and I remember I found light with God at that time after feeling all these suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
I remember I told God, if you make me walk again, the first thing I'm going to do is testify.
Yeah.
So, and I did. I was able to walk, and I immediately went to IES to Stockholm, and I got on in the teen service, and I did it in the other church as well.
Yeah.
So, things people said that encouraged me is, of course, my family. You know, my mom and my dad. They've instilled faith in Christ, just so much of that faith in Christ throughout this whole season. Of course, I'm sure they were also shocked. However, we always turn back to God.
Yeah.
And I continue to pray Isaiah 53:5, that by his stripes I'm healed.
Yeah.
But I don't know what healing looks like with what God wants, right?
Yeah.
Like, currently, I still do take medication. However, I am very grateful that I'm completely fine.
Yeah.
So,
Praise the Lord.
yeah, thank God. So I know that whatever I've gone through is to glorify God.
Yeah.
That is for sure. And I continue to do that. You know, when I meet people, I just speak about how the goodness of God. So they've always been my rock. My mom encouraging me, my dad, both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. How was your relationship with your brothers during that time?
Yeah. So, funnily enough, they were very, Josh was very young at that time.
Yeah.
He was there. He was obviously there, but he was not, I don't even think he remembers it as much.
Okay.
And Daniel was in Melbourne.
Okay.
So he didn't see it much either. So it was only my parents.
I see.
Yeah. So I had family friends that were surrounding me a lot. But a lot of the family friends also were sort of like in denial. Like, you know, what happened to John? He plays soccer so much. And, what happened to him? Because no one knows what MS is. And everyone thinks it's scoliosis, it's for your back, like scoliosis and all that stuff. But it's different.
So much more. Than,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dan and Josh were not there
So
much.
let me ask you this. So MS is, like you were saying, there are relapse, and so even when you, like, there are times when you had felt a little bit more normal, and then a relapse comes along.
Yes.
And then
Suddenly it all.
something else is taken from you.
Yes.
So every time that happens, how do you cope with that?
At that time, I would be very because it was just like it happened quickly. So after my left leg, I was not able to move. Suddenly, I woke up the next couple of days, and suddenly my right side I couldn't move. So even with my eyes, like my left eye, my left eye was blurry. After like a couple of weeks, my right eye was blurry.
Yeah.
And the doctor even said, John, I don't know whether you're gonna get your vision back completely. You may get back 80% or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And so, again, I think I was just trying to understand what's happening.
Yeah.
But it was difficult to understand because you felt so many different things. And so, of course, I was shocked. I was just shocked, and then trying to navigate how I am feeling. Then suddenly something else comes up. And the amount of needles I have been pricked, like it's just like so much. And I used to always cry before that, like with needles, but you have to get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was something I had to get adjusted with. And also, knowing, but I got adjusted more to MS in Australia than I did in Jakarta. So I spoke to my doctor quite frequently and trying to understand what MS is and how I feel. And I'm very blessed to have him in my life, and the way he has always been there for me. He's a godsend. So that's where I sort of understood what's happening.
So what's life like now?
Life's great. Thank God. All glory to God. I have medication that I take every 9 months, as I said. And I work out quite a lot.
If you guys don't know this, he is the paddle king.
No, I'm not.
No, yes.
No.
The amount of time that he
Take that title away. There's so many people watching this and like want to challenge me. I'm not
Your
at all.
brother told me that you're the paddle king.
I'm not.
Because,
He is.
because you play paddle a lot. But so that at least that's the title that your brother dubbed you.
He's trying to put it on me, but actually he's a lot better than I am. But yeah, so I do work out, like I lift weights, and I used to play soccer. So again, it's by the grace of God. I'm so thankful that I'm able to live my life normally.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course I know I still have MS, so I do. Yeah, life. I just have to. I'm aware that I don't go overboard in anything. Yeah.
So, are you ever afraid that you'll get to the point where you lose everything again?
That's the thing. Like, I've put my whole life and my trust in God. So, whatever happens, I'm giving it to Him. I've just in an act of surrender every day, like God, it's really in your hands, not mine. I've seen Him throughout the whole process of MS.
Yeah.
How can I not trust Him?
That's right.
So I have full faith that God will carry me through.
So let me ask you this as we kind of wrap up. I have 2 more questions for you.
Yeah.
But one of them, if anyone who is like watching this or listening to this is going through something, whether it is a diagnosis or it's a financial situation or a situation where they're like, why me? I don't know how to get myself out of this. Life is not normal anymore. What do you want to say to them?
I would say that whatever journey you're going through, it's such a personal journey with God, and you may think you're not capable, but God knows you're capable. So find strength in Him, that quiet time, that just give it to Him and spend time with Him and seek Him for the answers. You can't find answers in human beings. So let Him guide you. Let Him guide you, because He will. He's guided me. What's the difference between you and I?
For sure.
So I know, and be confident, because have relentless faith that He's going to be able to do it for you. So let Him carry you through the storm, no matter what the storm may be. He knows what's happening before it even happens. So give it to Him.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
My one last question is a question you probably don't like. Are you single?
But I have a feeling you're gonna ask me this.
Because then I can tell.
You promote me, yeah.
That my friend is unavailable.
Yeah. Yes, I am single.
So
I am very
here
single.
you go.
Yeah.
You knew I was going to ask that.
I had a feeling, but
yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, John, for sharing your story. I love that I get to hear the story, because I've just heard like snippets of it, or even and I'm pretty sure I was not in the country when all of this was happening.
Yeah.
And so I love that you have shared your story
thank you.
On the podcast, but also to me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right.
And thank you so much for listening. I hope you're encouraged by John's story. And if you ever need to reach out, he goes to IES.
Yes, I do.
And I'm just kind of promoting him. If you need him to like pray for you or something, approach him. But thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week for another episode of Take a Beat. Don't miss a beat.